Well, we'll see how this works out. We're back in the garage. We're back in the garage show. It's the Bottom of Glass Nation. It is August 16th, a little bit after 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Don't get carried away. Now, although the temperature allows us to be back in here, we haven't got a whole list of just the most powerful show you've ever seen. No. Relax. We're easing back into this. I'm going to take a lot of suggestions from what you guys want us to do. We have some more Bad Dog Tool stuff to do, but I didn't want to do it this week. We're going to do it probably next week. We'll set up a whole big thing, multiple cameras. We'll do something like that. But right now, I know you guys had some questions. We had some little things to talk about. We're not doing any trivia for prizes this week. Today's going to be a light-hearted jaunt, kind of getting our feet wet back in the garage show. We're actually here. We're actually in the garage show. Now, because we're using the mini pod track and the microphones we stole from the studio, can everybody hear us okay? Can you guys hear my wife? Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to say something good there. Where are you at? You're on
Hello. Tune? Happy Friday. Can they hear me?
I don't know if they can hear you or not. Well, let's see.
Andrew on Facebook wants to know if you're up on Rumble. Did you go on Rumble tonight?
We are not up on Rumble. Today we just went Facebook Blue, and that's vertical, and we went YouTube horizontal, the good old Irish way. That was it. That's all we did today. Just kind of taking things easy, getting back in the swing of things. Only whatever I can reach and grab. That's whatever's around me right now from cleaning and shoveling and doing. Although, I'll tell you what, because we're getting to move next year, my wife and I have decided, starting even tomorrow maybe, we're going to start going through the house and the garage and getting rid of stuff. Yeah, just tons of stuff that I don't want, don't need, can't use, refuse to drag with me to the next place. And I wouldn't know how to get any of that to you guys. Some of you wouldn't care. Some of you would be like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but there's no way to really do that. You can't put it up on a website or anything, and because it's too far for shipping. But just I'll let you guys know, when some of the things leave, when some of the staff's going to try to get some stuff, or we yard sale some stuff, I'll put it out there and let you guys know it was in the mix. Anyway, what are you over there shaking your head about?
I'm not mailing that stuff out.
First of all, you'll do whatever you're told, woman.
No.
You got a ring on your finger.
No.
You got my name tattooed on your body.
No.
I've got a marriage certificate. I own you.
Would you start the garage show?
That's ownership. God damn it. It's the worst part about owning a wife is she doesn't listen. She doesn't obey. She doesn't do what I want. I think I've been duped. This whole would you like to have a wife thing did not turn out, not as advertised at all. Not even close, just so you know. All right. Glad YouTube is not vertical, says Jason. I know, but it's going to have to be. The other shows are going to have to be. You're going to have to do Facebook Personal will be horizontal, Rumble will be horizontal, but Facebook Blue and YouTube they're going to be vertical. I think when TikTok comes around, they're going to be vertical on theirs too. That's just the way it has to be able to put into the Shorts and Reels feed where you can get to a bigger audience. Trying to reach some real fans, some real customers, instead of you jabronis every single time. I mean, how often can you guys call me handsome before I just get tired of it? I gotta move on. I have to. But until then, we're here, and you're stuck with me, and I'm stuck with you. All right. Come on, I said that with a straight face. Shut up. Anything between the sheets, dear?
Nothing at the moment.
No questions. Nothing between the sheets.
Jeremy B says there is no owning a wife. The wife owns you.
No, now, Jeremy, that was not how it was advertised. It was advertised that I would own the wife. And so I signed up right away. I committed right away. I paid all the fees. I signed all the paperwork. It has not turned out that way at all.
I guess nobody wants any car questions
or
tools
so
or everybody's cars are working.
Everybody's cars are working good. So I will tell you something funny. I don't even know why we have this. But
yes, you do.
I do? Why?
That's for the gold coins.
Oh, yeah, this was for the gold coins. This was for...
You don't know why you have it.
I didn't know why I have it. I couldn't remember.
Go smoke a toad, $2. Hair looks great, General. Very handsome.
Thank you, Smicky. Thank you, dear. I didn't know why I had it. Couldn't remember why this was in my garage, but thankfully my wife is here to remind me and make me look stupid all at once.
You're welcome.
That's what a wife is for. So
you're welcome, America.
But I remember now this is gold, obviously, but it's kind of a gold chrome. I just remembered when I looked at this can when I was a kid growing up in the 80s that there was a bunch of kids that used to take spray chrome, and they would take every part they could off their car, and they would scrub it, and they would clean it and dry it and primer it, and they would spray it spray chrome, and they put it back on the car, and that was the dumbest looking shit ever. And I remember we used to go around, when I was growing up, the kids had Toyotas and Nissans, little Rice Rocket crew, and then we always had the bigger cars, the muscle cars, but we always used to beat them in drag racing or just racing around wherever we were going, racing point A to point B, or the canyons. We did a lot of canyon racing, and we'd beat them and say, hey, does that spray chrome make your car go faster? You faster now, buddy? Got your spray chrome on? You better go get some more chrome. I beat you this week. Come on now, go get some more chrome.
Pin PayPal.
Pinning PayPal.
And Shadowlight wants to know, did we miss the Patreon announcement?
There was no Patreon announcement because I was not near a computer, and for some, I can't pin it. It will not let me pin it.
Okay.
That's weird. It will not let me pin PayPal.
Sun Valley Fox chimed in and said, hi, General. Who's on the screen? I didn't recognize you. Where's the hat? Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have a hat, so everybody's out of cattywampus today. Yeah, what?
Joe Derrick on YouTube. Quick question. Lucas or Seafoam to help stop slipping in automatic transmission?
Nothing's going to help your transmission stop slipping once it starts slipping except fixing it. You can put Lucas, don't put Seafoam in there. Seafoam cleans it out. Lucas thickens it up. And I'm not going to tell you this because this is a new car thing. It probably would fuck up a new car, but in older cars, older transmissions and Fords and Dodges and Chevys and old Toyotas, when it's kind of funny. An old timer taught me this trick, and I didn't believe him, and it worked. Transmission was slipping pretty bad. I mean, it would move down the road, but just barely. Lots of engine revving, like you were in neutral half the time. And the old boy says, drain your transmission fluid out. Don't change the filter. Fill it up with motor oil, with engine oil. And I said, no, that's not a good idea. He goes, no. Engine oil is much thicker, and your problem is all your parts in your automatic transmission are worn out, and the thicker oil will make them last. And I said, for how long? He goes, you can get about 1,000 miles out of it. So I did it. In fact, it was to an old Dodge pickup I had, and I drained the fluid out and poured motor oil in there, probably 4 or 5 quarts of engine oil. I think he used straight 30 or straight 40 at the time. Fired it up, and after let it idle and run it through the gears, sure enough, that thing, I actually got about 2,000 miles out of it before it smoked itself again. And the reason I thought that would even be worth trying, the old codger told me that. He goes, your transmission's already fucked up anyway. You're not going to make it worse. You get it rebuilt, they clean it all out anyway, so who cares? He was right. So I tried it. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to, but don't put something thinner cleaning in there. Your problem is thickness and distance right now. So unless you have a stuck piston or a stuck valve, then that make it worse. But if you're genuinely slipping but still moving, then your problem's in rudimentary forms is thickness. So that's what I did, and it worked. Anything else, Gen X Mom?
Matthew Cole, forklift fixed. LOL.
Actually, I'm selling the forklift. That was one of the things that went today. A guy who was doing some work for me, he actually rents one of my buildings downtown, small building down there. He came by today to do some stuff for me on my deck, and he said he wanted the forklift, and he would take it for $1,000 as is. He wants just the parts he'll do the radiator, he'll make the brackets, he'll fix the transmit. I mean, it runs. It just needs some things put together on it. He said, I'll buy it for $1,000, take it away. The only thing about the forklift that would make me think that was a shitty deal for me, or I'm sorry, not a shitty deal, that I'm getting away with something here, is that the tires are bald. And it's one of those forklifts. It's kind of like it looks kind of like a Costco forklift, but it runs on propane. It's really low to the ground. Okay, and with the bald tires, that makes it just such a tough gig. And the tires are like $700 a piece. And I know you got to take them off and hacksaw and cut tread into it. Yeah, you could, I guess. Harbor Freight even has a forklift jack. Have you guys ever seen a real forklift jack? Doesn't look like anything you've ever seen. Didn't think it'd even work. I didn't buy one, but I saw a little picture of it, and it's a cylinder like this, and it slides right under the corner, and it lifts it up just high enough to you ain't crawling under it and changing the oil or anything, but it'll let you pull a tire off. That's like all it's for. So, but if you did that, you could take the tires off and cut them up. You probably could. They got enough. They got enough rubber. They're solid tires. They're solid rubber tires. But the forklift, if it was in great running condition and it looked really good, just average put together stuff, it'd probably be worth about $5,000. If I put everything back together, probably worth $2,000. And because you'd have to put tires on it, but he's going to put everything back together. He's towing it out of here. He's going to tow it out of here. I'm giving him all the pieces for $1,000. My yard is clear, but that's the way I'm getting rid of stuff too. I'm not going to work on stuff and build it up to a certain point and then say, now it's worth this. I just don't have the time or the energy to do it. I want to just take things. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give away the fork for $300, but $1,000 and he's going to fix everything. Yeah, it's going to go. So yeah, stuff like that. Gen X Mom.
Ryan gave $10 and didn't allocate funds.
Well, Ryan Weigel, if you don't allocate where the $10 goes to, that goes to the whiskey fund. And if it's $20, it's going to go to the Singapore Hooker Fund, which I desperately need. Yeah, true story. Yeah.
Danny H., if someone in a garage throws you a capacitor, should you watch it?
Not fucking catch it. We did that with back in the day when they had points and condensers, and a condenser was a little round cylinder, and then it had a wire coming off of it, and we would charge that up on a battery, positive and negative, and charge that little capacitor, and we'd throw it to someone, and if they caught it, and the wire and the metal housing hit, what are the chances you're going to catch it with 2 fingers just by the wire? Or just by the little cylinder? You're not. You're going to grab that thing in the air, and it fucking lets loose all that voltage. Pop! It stings. Yeah, if somebody throws you something in a shop, especially if it's a shop full of assholes, be careful what you catch. Because they can be just fucking with you, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt like a motherfucker, just so you know.
Crystal Miller, banana sauce. Love the new haircut, General. Did you have court today?
Wow. Another person who thinks that is not the only reason I get a haircut and shave. It's not just for court. I did it for court. I think I did it when we got married. Didn't we? Did I do it when we got married?
Yeah.
I've done it on a couple job interviews, during my life, my tenure on this planet. So it's not just court, okay? Yeah. All right, what else?
Jan Motz.
Jan Motz.
Or Jane Motz, sorry.
Jane Motz. I still call her Jan. She's probably
So do
Jan.
I.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer this, General, but I think my gearbox is going. It's a high-pitched whine noise every time I'm in the car. Any solutions to this? Could be a lot.
High-pitched whine noise and calling it a gearbox. God, there's like a million things that would make a high-pitched whine noise way before a gearbox. Does it only do it when you're driving forward? Can you just be in your driveway and rev it up? If it makes the noise in your driveway, revving it up, then you're not moving, it's not a gearbox. If it makes the noise like in first gear, start out in second gear, third gear, I don't know, probably still, it's not common for a gearbox to make a high-pitched whine noise. Belts, bearings in the engine, those do first. Brakes can squeal, they can get things caught and hit the backing plate and make them touch. That can cause a high-pitched squeal. I guess it could be a gearbox. It is possible, but that would be the last thing on my list. It probably wouldn't be the first thing.
All right.
Drive backwards. Here's another one. If you put it in first gear and drive 20 miles an hour forward and it's making the noise, but sitting still, nothing, put it in reverse and go backwards at like 15, 20 miles an hour. Pick a safe place to do that. See if it makes the noise still then. That'll tell me something too.
Barry Dano, member for 29 months. Bike question. Spots on the frame where the powder coating is gone and has surface rust. Can I use navel jelly and paint the spots with rust paint?
Well, you can paint it, but that's not. If it's through your powder coating, you're kind of in trouble there because the powder coat, you can paint over it if that's what you're trying to do, but it's going to look funny. If it's through the powder coating, you need to grind that down and then reshoot that. I'm just saying, and then paint it. That's just me, but that's, I don't know. Yeah, you use a jelly on that, and just if it's real small, just touch it up. Maybe no one will notice. Then you're not spending a bunch of time and effort. But you probably need a paint and body guy for that one. But that's my take on it.
Ryan gave $5. Can't wait for the barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue's in 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody's got the link to that. There's still a couple tickets available. If anybody wants to show up, we're just going to have an afternoon, evening hanging out. There's going to be some music and there's going to be some food. A lot of the names you know are going to be there. We're all going to hang out for this. Is the last one at this location. It's at my house. It's invite only. Don't show up and be an asshole. I will fucking throw you over the wall and I won't even care. I won't even think twice. I will throw you over the wall and don't come back. But if you're cool and you want to hang out and have a few drinks and some burgers and stuff and hang out with all the names you know, a lot of bottom of the glass people are going to be there. Some people are driving in. We're going to start early, stay late. I'm going to stay up the whole time. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got to come and hang out for that one.
Okay, Soggy Bottoms. Just sold my 1994, I think this is abbreviation, FXDWG. What's your favorite bike year of all time, General? I like the classic wide glides.
Yeah, if I had to go back right now, I think they're a little underpowered. But I'd probably go for I think if I'd go backwards for something instead of some of the new stuff, I think I'd go, if I was sticking with Harley, probably a 78 Shovelhead. I don't know, there's just some nostalgia that holds for that from the mid-70s stuff that just holds a little place in my heart. There's stuff wrong with those, I know. But I think I'd go that direction.
All right, Brain in a Jar Studio, new member. But if they have tread, how will I be able to drift the forklift?
Yeah, well, you can still pour oil all over the warehouse floor and do anything you want, even with tread. Yeah, he's like, no, bald tires are good. Okay, how old's that guy? He's got to be in his 20s. Because any younger than that, they wouldn't fucking know to do it. Any older than that wouldn't bother. But riding that hard as though you have a few drinks in your that guy's got to be in his mid to late 20s. He's fucking getting ready to go.
Shannon Burgo, $2. Please tell me you're keeping the Harley.
I'm keeping the Harley. Keeping sexy. I'm keeping her. She got a scratch on her now, so I'm a little upset. But yeah, that's one of the things I want to fix. It's been sitting for so long now. I got to pull the plugs out of it, spray some WD-40 down there, and let it sit on the cylinders a little bit. Maybe move it over by hand, And for those of you who don't know, it's making sure the rings aren't rusted to the cylinder wall. Just clean that up. They'll be fine. But I got to do something like that just as a precaution, and then change the oil and go. But that's it. I got to get on this stuff. I got to get my fat ass in gear. I want to start tomorrow, but what my wife doesn't know is that I want to have a motivational speech. I want to get her tonight right as she's climbing.
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah. I want to get her right as she's climbing into bed and say, okay, how about we crash out, we get up early, let's go get you some breakfast, we get some coffee going, let's get out in that garage, throw the doors open, let's clear the driveway, let's start dragging some stuff out, we'll put it out there, we'll bring the trailer up and unload the trailer, let's do that, I tell you what, let's do that, and then let's have a little quick yard sale on Sunday. Let's buy some stuff at Home Depot, little signs. Just at Sunday morning, we'll get up at Oh God early, put some signs up, let the treasure hunters who drive around find them, and we won't advertise in the paper. Let's just do that. That's the speech I'm going to give her tonight. Now, my wife can go either way. In the bedroom, my wife can go either way. I'm talking about the yard sale. Relax. That's all I'm talking about. Anyway, she could be like, yes, that's good. Let's do this. Let's pump up. Let's get on with this shit. The vision of the future, the move. Let's start doing it. She can roll up her sleeves and get after it, or she can be like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. And then it just kills the whole vibe. It kills everything. I don't know. And
I'd love to get rid of off half the shit in the garage.
Whoa! There's no way we could get rid of half. That. Do you realize how much shit you half? We might be lucky if I cry and strain and go to confession and get rid of things. Maybe we can get rid of 20%. Maybe. And that's a big ask.
Okay, Yukon Raphael Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius.
Hello, Gen X Nation. Cheers, General and Gen X Mom. He's a member for 26 months. Jim on Facebook. Have you used Evapo Rust to remove rust on a body panel?
I haven't. I've seen some stuff on that. I don't even know. My body guys that have body shops, I don't know that they've used that either. I haven't been out in town and talked to those guys. I need to make my rounds again and stop by and see them. I'll tell you the thing that was the best rust remover of all time. They made it illegal in California. They might have made it illegal everywhere. But there was a tin, it was a rectangle tin can. Okay? I'm not saying that right, but you guys know it wasn't square, it was a rectangle and it was tall. And it was powder blue, with like white letters on it, and it had an opening on it, a little lid on top, and it came out like a gel, and it was called aircraft remover or airplane remover, one of the two. They stopped selling it in California years ago, but you could take that with a brush, and if you hurried before it dissolved your brush in your hand, you could lay that on paint, and while you watched it, it would bubble up, and you could sit there 20 minutes and take a rag, and with one clean wipe right down to the metal. And I mean, I'd never seen anything like that in my goddamn life. Yeah. You look like you're getting ready to go somewhere.
No, the Sun Valley Fox says, how's the Queen's BMW? Is it for sale? I don't want it. I'm just saying.
No. I know this is a dumb idea. It runs. It starts up and runs. It's out of gas right now. I want to take that with me to Nevada. She got a little, like a 2002 3 Series convertible BMW. Okay? I want to take that. I want to see if it's got a little stick transmission. I want to see if I can put a small block Chevy. I want to take it and put, a removable hood on there and deck out the engine bay and put an old 4-bolt main, camelback heads, maybe like, do like an old L-Brock dual plane manifolds. There's some old school stuff on there. Get a bunch of stuff from Summit and build a motor and put it in there and have that BMW just roaring down the road with a small block Chevy under the hood, and then make an adapter plate or get one from the BMW stick transmission to the bell housing. I just think that would be fucking awesome to do. So why are you laughing?
I'm just like, okay.
Why are you laughing? That's the kind of projects I used to do before we had kids.
I know.
Before you started this family of 8. That's the kind of shit I used to like to do. And you know what's funny? She likes that stuff too. Didn't get you wrong. She would drive the shit out of that if it was done.
All right, Joe Derek on YouTube.
I guess I'm done talking about that car.
Yes, you are. What's your take on the new woke Harley?
Yeah, that my wife pointed out that in Sturgis, the Harley Davidson, they kind of sponsor the whole thing. They're one of the biggest influences in Sturgis, other than police, law enforcement going there to pick people up. Is the Harley Davidson. They got their big tent out there, and they got all kinds of shit, and it was empty. It was empty. People just walked away and said, it's another Bud Light moment. It's another Target moment. But the problem is the CEO they've got is one of those woke dudes who just thinks, not just including minority movements is good. No. He puts them to the front of the line. That's the mistake everybody makes. If Bud Light wants to incorporate woke, well, sponsor them. Send them $1,000 and say, hey, we're with you. Buy some posters. If Target wants to do the LGBTQ community, fine. Make an aisle for their stuff. But Bud Light put those people on the front billboard, the front commercial, the front of social media. Target put their shit right out front on display. When you start cramming it down people's throats, then they've had enough. In my country, in America, in the United States, they're like, well, I don't mind being inclusive, I don't mind you using pronouns, but as soon as you go from, hey, accept us, please accept us. Okay, we accept you. Now we'd like to be in your face to the front of the line. Can we go here? How about if we're here? Now, see, that bothers me. You have no right to be at the front of the line any more than I do or anybody else. Well, we're a minority. So what? Well, we get special privilege. No, you don't. You're not special. You're regular. You wanted to be treated like everybody else? You're like everybody else. You're not special. I'm not special. They're not special. Just fit in with the rest of us. It's when you go to the front of the line and they make a big deal about it. Ford backed away from their trucks when they did that real quick. And they pulled it back. Harley went a little bit too far. And you get what people do. We don't care. And it will cost you. And you're not a hero for doing it. You're not a hero for picking someone and standing by them, Harley, and putting them to the front of the line. What happens to me? Let's have a big fat white guy. We're a minority. There's not a lot of us big fat white guys around. Can I be to the front of the line? I'm a minority. Wouldn't you love me? Put me to the front of the line. Well, because I'm just like everybody else. So I would have avoided the tent in Sturgis also. Next.
Charles Clark gifted 5 memberships tonight to OBGYN Kenobi, Danny Link, Sergeant Deacon, PM3, and Darth Mocker.
What was the first guy's name?
OBGYN Kenobi.
OBGYN Kenobi. So that guy's like the Pussy Jedi. Is that what it says? I am the Pussy Jedi.
VJJ Kenobi.
The VJJ Kenobi. In fact, I'm a master. I'm not a Padawan learner. I'm a master Jedi of the hoo-ha.
Well, good for him.
That's what I saw anyway. That's what I took out of it.
Django, YouTube. How do you feel about GDI engines, and do you think that full synthetic oils will help cut down on carbon buildup?
They're supposed to. Synthetic, I didn't really believe what synthetic was. I didn't understand what synthetic was, and I know I saw YouTube videos on it. I actually had a guy explain it on a piece of paper and a pen one time. I took a piece of paper and a pen, and he gave me kind of a rundown on, and this was from a chemical point of view. And believe me, he had to dumb it way down so that I understood how could there be a difference between a synthetic oil and a regular oil unless you're pumping a bunch of chemicals into the synthetic oil. I thought that's what it was. I thought that the synthetic was strictly just regular, clean, brand new, good oil, but synthesized with all sorts of chemicals. You know what? Do I get a pen? I could probably show them. I'm just going to tell you what this guy told me. All right? I'm going to explain to you how he explains synthetic oils to me. I will draw it as big as I can. All right, where do we got something here? I only need one of them. Go ahead and hook it from there. All right. So let me explain this the way he explained it to me. See if it makes any sense to you. Because my whole thing was I thought synthetic was oil with chemicals. And it's real simple what he did. And believe me, he dumbed this way down. I'm sure Low Torque is listening to this show because he's a rocket scientist in the oil industry, and he shakes his head going, "You're fucking it up." And I would tell Low Torque, "I haven't said anything yet." And Low Torque would say, "You're still fucking it up." But this was the basic to give me an understanding of the difference between synthetic oil and regular oil, not talking about chemicals. So this guy says, if you had a stream of oil, regular, let's just say 530, okay? And he says the human fingers couldn't sit, and you couldn't put oil between your fingers and feel anything because there's the microscopic dirt, the microscopic crap, the microscopic parts that make up oil are too small. He says, but on a powerful microscope, you can see it clear as day. I said, okay, I'm with you so far. He goes, so let's say we looked under a microscope, and there's all these particles in regular engine oil. He says, just trust me when I tell you that even refined new oil, let's say it would look like that. That's how he drew it out. He goes, it's clean, it's beautiful, it works, it keeps the metal parts separated, it's great under pressure, and then as it gets dirty, this all changes. I said, okay. He goes, the first step they do in synthetic oil is we have found a way to remove two things. All of the big particles in engine oil, he said, and more importantly, the space between them. And I said, I don't understand the space between. He goes, just trust me, there's always gaps of stuff between this. He goes, so, and this is what he drew. I don't know if he's right or not. I'm just a dumb mechanic. I work on lawnmowers. He said, what it comes out to be, he says, when you're done, is a synthetic oil is much more durable. He says, and all of the space has been removed. All of the big spots, all of the big chunks have been filtered out chemically. It is compressed in a manner, these pieces. And so he says, what you get, instead of having the dots all over like it was before, he says, what you get is this versus that. Now, for the lack of a better word, this is the words he told me. This is not my story. The debris that breaks down in the oil is smaller, more compact, and less And this is more uniform, and the oil will degrade much slower. It'll last much longer. And he says it's reducing the chunks of pieces and the space between it to make synthetic oil. It's very difficult to do. It was very hard to do. It was very expensive to do in the beginning. That's why those quarts of oil used to be $45 a quart when they first came out for just regular synthetic 530. But this is the story the guy gave me. And he was part of a factory team of guys. He was a guy as well. And believe me, I'm sure there's tons more to it. But remember who he was talking to. He dumbed it down and he goes, that is the difference. There is a difference, and you can't make this last as long as that. He goes, that's just the basics and how it works. He goes, imagine now if you drug something across the surface of this and it's bump, 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 bump. But if you have this packed in and you drag the same thing, it's a little bit of bumpy and much smoother and much nicer. It's synthetic. That was the description you gave me. So I don't know if that's right. You can probably be out there. There's always a Bill Nye the Science Guy right about now who's going to start yapping his way. That's not how it works. That's not how it's. I worked for 23 years for Chef. Look, dude, I didn't say I knew what I was talking about. All right. All I said was that's what the guy explained to me. That's all I told you. So if you guys got stuff to say, go ahead and say it.
Ryan wants to know, General, about synthetics. Is B&G worth the money?
BG, not BNG. Isn't it called BG? It's not BNG, is it? Hang on.
Hydrate.
Hydrating, so I can say the whole time. All right. I actually have a BG story. When I was working at the dealerships, God, my hair is really fucked up. You guys like this? Where's my fucking hat?
Where's your hat?
I don't know. Anyway, when I was working at a dealership in Victorville, California in 90, I think it was, 90 or 91. BG, I don't know how long they'd been around, but it was new to me. They came through with their products, and of course, BG had a whole line of products. And a guy, an older guy, way smarter than I'll ever be, told me something. He goes, look, every chemical company will come out with something that works. Seafoam, their shit works. Lucas, their shit works. They come out with a product, and then they make 500 other things on the reputation of the one product that works. It's like, well, you want to buy a Ford, don't you? I mean, you've seen a Ford truck built Ford tough, using it as an example. Don't get your panties in a wad if you don't like Ford. And you say, well, yeah, the Ford truck was pretty good. Well, let's try this Ford Fiesta. I mean, built by Ford's got to be good. No, I don't know of any company that makes 900 products and they're all great. They're all top shelf. They're all perfect. No. So BG comes along, and the first thing that they tried to sell us was 44K. And 44K goes in your fuel, and it's supposed to clean carbon in your fuel system. It's supposed to, as it goes through the system with fuel injection, it's supposed to clean the back of the valves, the intake, whatever the gasoline touches, the heads it cleans. All right. So the guy come through, he gave us a lecture on the stuff, and the guy comes through, and I happen to have a cylinder head I'd just taken off, and I turned it upside down, set it so the valves were facing up. I left the spark plugs in it, and I got a can of that from the guy. He gave me one, and it was all carboned up, really bad. And I just filled each combustion chamber, the head, with 44K, and I went home for the night. The next morning I came in, and I took my rag and I went to clean it out, and kind of like that airplane remover stuff, it cleaned right down to the metal. So now I know that's not how it pours into your engine like that. It goes in a mist and it takes time, but I know 44K worked like they said. The other one was MOA, motor oil additive, and they used to have a program back in the 90s that if you bought a brand new truck and you had every oil change serviced at the dealer, and you bought from the dealer a can of MOA, and the dealer put it in, with every oil change, they would guarantee that engine from oil mechanical failure for 200,000 miles. Yeah. Any engine, any manufacturer, any brand. It couldn't be, that you overheated it, you blew a radiator hose, not that. If a bearing just went bad or seized up, not because of oil. If the rest of the bearings are good, the oil's doing its job, but you had just one failure, not that. But if you could tell there was an oiling problem at the cam, at the lifters, if there was an oiling problem, they would guarantee that that motor would go 200,000 miles. So what they did was they came by and they had an electric motor spinning, and it was kind of on it had a piece of metal and a ball bearing on the end sticking out, and the motor was on a pivot you could rotate. It had a big bar. So what you did was this bar sticking out the side with the bearing on it, they would put a cup of oil down here, and you would grab the bar and rotate the whole motor until this bearing went down in the cup of oil that you had on there and hit a metal surface, and you would try to stop it. You would try to stop that electric motor by taking it and pulling it until the bearing hit that metal so hard it stops. So I got to be the guy who tested it. So they did it for me first. Nothing in there. I just pulled it down, it stopped the motor immediately. He put water in there and filled it up, this cup up with water. For me first. Nothing in. You know, if you weren't on your phone,
no, I'm watching you.
Wouldn't be a problem.
I'm watching you.
All right. So they put it with water. I pulled it down, didn't do anything, exchange it. They put motor oil in there, in this cup with the bar, started the electric motor. I grabbed it, and it was a little bit harder to stop it, but eventually I stopped the electric motor. Took it out, cleaned it all up. They put transmission fluid in there, same thing. It took me a few seconds, but I stopped it. Then they cleaned it out again, and they put MOA. Motor oil additive in there, and I grabbed it, same motor, same speed, same everything, and I almost couldn't put enough pressure on it to stop the electric motor from spinning. I tried everything I could. They had the motor, I forgot the part about the belt drove the little, and that was inside that was spinning, and you're trying to stop the motor by having the electric motor drive the belt, which drove the little bearing on the end of the steel. I forgot that, but that's how it was moving, and I'm trying to stop it from spinning. I almost couldn't do it. So I know MOA works. Now I don't know. Their claim was it impregnates the oil, or it impregnates the oil, and then it impregnates the metal. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. You can soak a chunk of iron and shit for a long time. Not a lot of it gets inside, in my book. But I was happened to be there back in the day. Now, of course, BG came out with 900 other products. Most of them are bullshit in my opinion. But I'll tell you what, the 44K and the MOA worked like a motherfucker. Worked great. I saw them work. I know they work. I tried them. I did their test with trying to stop the electric motor by the spinning bearing down in the oil, and I watched it do it. Now they have transmission fluid that they say you put this transmission additive, and it brings the color and viscosity back to life. That's a complete fucking lie. Because we had a guy, they said, look, see this, he had a vial of dirty transmission fluid. See this dirty transmission fluid? Watch, just a few drops, we shake. Oh, look, it's bright, shiny, pink transmission fluid. Look how great that is. Friend went over and he goes, I just pulled this off the transmission, and here's a pan. He poured it into a clear glass, and the guy put his drops in there, shook it up, nothing happened, and it was burned up transmission fluid. And the guy says, well, you know, our chemical's not reacting with the transmission fluid. Perhaps there's some sort of other additive, you know, mixed in with that guy's transmission fluid that's counteracting our shit. To which I stood up and said, well, that could be the case for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to buy your product and they've already put something else in their transmission. You're coming clean and saying it won't work. I don't think it works anyway. I will find you a transmission that has nothing in it but burned up regular transmission fluid, and you go, no, we don't need to go to that. Yeah, because they were full of shit on that. They were lying. It was snake oil, and we caught them at it. But the BG product, the 44K, the MOA, I know those worked. They worked at the time, unless they changed them. They were great products. That's kind of what they built their reputation on. Now, I don't know if there's other products that did work as well, but nothing I ever saw from BG worked anything like they said it was going to. But those two products were great. Anything else?
Todd Wells wants to know, is Royal Purple worth the price?
Back in the day, there was a few things that were Slick 50 was never worth it. Slick 50 had a bunch of good ads and stuff they did and similar tests, but they weren't worth it. They all kind of sucked. And then The Royal Purple was good. I think most of my buddies used those in motorcycles. I didn't. There was a few products that were a little bit better than average. They put some science into their stuff. They don't just mix coloring dye into it and send it to you. It's good stuff. But, is it worth the money? Probably. But you can't beat some of the stuff that's out there for the good, clean, high-grade synthetics. You just can't. The stuff that's out there now, time Royal Purple came out, there was not a lot on the market of super high-end oil for the regular consumer. There was IndyCar stuff and NASCAR stuff, but there wasn't a lot for us. That's why when Slick 50 came out, it was like this God moment, and it really wasn't any good. But products that, when Royal Purple came out, they were kind of on their own, like one of the front runners. Now there's just a ton of stuff, so it's not bad. It's not going to hurt anything. Looking at you.
Danny H says, got a water heater on the other board, and then he went and said maybe it's a piston.
God, you're going to make me turn around and look. That was yeah, the other board, this over here, I was trying to explain top dead center because the kid didn't know what top dead center was, and we were explaining distributor timing because I got banned for saying retarded. And it was ignition timing. That's a mechanical terminology. Mechanics, is your ignition timing. It's retarded. It's advanced. That's what it's called. And I was trying to explain what before top dead center is 0, before top dead center, and after top dead center. And then I remember my son in one of the conversations, he couldn't get it past his head. No matter how many times I explained it to him, he says, so when the piston's coming all the way up to the top, you don't want the spark to fire before it gets there, because the explosion will start happening as the piston's reaching the top. That's counterproductive. Now, in theory, that sounds perfectly right, but in practical terms, if you fire the spark plug just before top dead center, the ignition begins to burn, but it doesn't even come close to creating any pushback on the piston until it's almost at 0. By then, the combustion is becoming complete right when you want it to. You don't want to have the combustion chasing the piston, a little bit late. So you want it to hit right as the full combustion, right as it's hitting the top, so it's pushing all the way down correctly. He goes, no, that can't be true. Because he was thinking that combustion happens in the blink of an eye, like lightning, and I'm like, it's actually measurable. There's actually a way to measure that. So, anyway, that was what that drawing was. Thanks, Danny H. I needed to get sidetracked on that shit.
Kristen Hartman, hey General, have you ever tried a product called ER, Energy Release? My dad used to use it in his race cars, but I think they're out of business now. Basically, Lucas on steroids.
No, I've never heard of that. You know who would know about that kind of stuff is Loud One. Loud One in Facebook, he goes by Ian Porteus. He goes by Loud One in YouTube, and he has a race car currently that he races. So he's more up on that vernacular and the products that have come and gone in the last 10 years than I am.
Sig Nelson on Facebook, been reporting a ton of fake pages. Hello, Gen X family and friends. Haven't been on lately. That sounds like chrome remover. Literally pulls metal clean of everything. Looking great, General.
Those of you that are on Facebook or anybody who can go to Facebook, if you go to our website, genxtalks.com, there is a picture. Scroll down to there is a link, a picture and a link. There are like 10 Facebook pages that just came out. And they're up to 30,000 followers, 20,000 followers. They're just stealing our content and putting it out there every day. And I know it's kind of a hassle, but if you could report them as fake friend, not fake celebrity, not fake, famous person, just a fake friend, we might get some of these squashed, but it's only if all of you do it. I do it every day. I go to all 8 of them and I do the thing on there. When I'm scrolling through and one of their videos comes up that's not ours, I report it. Don't report ours by mistake. You got to look for the logo. But if you guys could do that, that would really help us out a lot, because my son's put a lot of effort. The whole family's put a lot of effort into this channel for 3 years, almost 4 years now. And to have these guys come in and they're just taking it and they're going to start making money off it and they're going to pull viewers away. They didn't have to do anything. It kind of sucks, but there's nothing I can do about it but ask you guys to help out. So if you see it, please report it as fake friend. If you want to get all of them, go to our website, scroll down, click on it. It just takes you to every one of them. That would help.
Justin Bennett, General, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any welding knowledge? I want to teach myself how to weld. I was wondering what's the best way to learn?
The best way to learn is practice. And if I had to teach you something in 20 seconds over the internet, I would say always pay attention to your heat and your speed for depth of the weld, how much penetration you're getting. You get clean surfaces and all that, but you'll get it. There's some excellent welding videos out there that teach you the basics, and you can start off small and go big. You know, and there's guys that'll show you how to gas weld. They fucking look like artists when they do it. They're incredible with what they're doing. But yeah, welding is something everybody should know how to do a little bit of, for sure.
D-Nice 1477. How about Amsoil? Is it a good synthetic? God, I can't even say it. Synthetic.
It's not Amsoil.
That's what you spelled.
Amsoil.
Oh.
That's how you say it.
Amsoil. Okay. Amsoil.
I was never a fan of Amsoil, but I won't get onto their product. There were so many other things I just stayed away from that. There were so many other things that you knew worked, and you didn't cause any damage. So what you don't want is the reason that I stay away from things that I haven't tried or my friends haven't tried is because some of the additives, now follow me on this, it's real simple. Some of the additives they put in oil to make oil behave better, longer, resist breakdown, it actually has properties in it that swell your oil seals. Your rear main can start leaking, your front seal can start leaking, your front crank seal. You can have problems with valve cover gaskets leaking because the properties that are in these oils to make them do what they claim they do, it actually swells the seals and they begin leaking. So they can sometimes create more problems than they're worth. That's the only reason I don't jump on the bandwagon with everything. I'll try something on an older rig or something I'm taking apart anyway to see if I get some value out of it, or I listen to my friends what they've tried.
B himself. That's the guy's name?
B himself.
Or person. Thoughts on Ford 300 straight 6?
The Ford 300 straight 6, probably one of the best engines ever built. A lot of torque, very reliable, easy to work on, cheap to find parts for. I mean, absolutely one of the workhorses of their generation. They were great. They were absolutely great. I think that was along with that Power Stroke. What was the first Power Stroke? The 7.3, was it? Was that what it was? 7.3? It wasn't a big diesel guy. That turned out to be one of the best workhorse engines of all time. Pre-EGR, just absolute phenomenal engine. Yeah.
Charles Clark, 1999. Whiskey funds, dude. Halo, drain the barrel. Pure chaos the other night. Loved it, bearded one. Drinks on Ashley tonight. Love Mama X.
Who was that?
Charles Clark.
Charles, did you play with this the other night, or did you just watch me get drunk and chew everybody out? Because that's all I did, was I just screaming at everybody, a bunch of dumb motherfuckers playing Halo. And the problem is, when you get an old guy like me playing and drinking, my tolerance for the fragrances of nature go way down. And when there's idiots in there, I fucking let them know. I will hit a teammate in the back of the fucking head and piss on them if they're ruining my game. I came there to play.
All right, Jack Armstrong on Facebook.
Yeah, Jack.
General, did you prefer Valvoline or Haveline oil at one point in time?
Valvoline, not even a comparison. I told you guys the story before. I had an opportunity to work with a guy who, for a long time, his name was Bill Breniff, and he held for many years. You guys gotta let me stretch my knees here. That stool's fucking killing me. Bill Breniff, for many years, held the International Hydroboat speed record, and he had an insulation company, and great guy. He was a little bit of a tough guy to get to know, but he was a great guy, and he had built a room with a water brake dyno back when nobody had one personally, and he did. And one day he got this motor built. I forget who built his motor. He got it from the Midwest. He got it sent to him, and he put it up there and fired it up and was doing all these test runs with it. He broke it in real good. But I worked for him, and he said, go get me every brand engine oil out there. Get a case. So I drove out, and I got, Valvoline and Haviland and Quaker State and Pennzoil and Ray Lube, everything, Mobil One, all the stuff you could get. At the time, there was only 2 synthetics out there, Mobil One, and I think maybe Quaker State had one at the time, and filters. I bought 20 filters, so I had the same filter. And all this guy and I did on a Saturday one day was put in fresh oil and a new filter. And he would write down on his chart, Valvoline. And he would run this thing at the same RPM for the same length of time to test it. And he would look at this computer printout and see how his horsepower changed, how his temperatures and the engine changed, just changing the oil. That's all he did. Everything was identical, every single test. So now, you know, as a kid, I'm looking at this and thinking, this is the most valuable information I could ever get. Because this is a true test of just changing the oil and seeing what the computer results are on this power brake, this water brake for this big dyno. So we were in the other room behind the glass doing the stuff, and I won't bore you with all the details, but one of the oils that came out the worst was Pennzoil, losing horsepower. The regular non-synthetic, just good quality oil, the best one was Valvoline. Wasn't even close. It was up there. And Mobile One, we put Mobile One in there, and it far and away everything. That temperatures were cooler, the horsepower was up. It was I would have never believed it if someone had told me that, but I was watching. I was the one changing the oil. I was there. And so there's some things that stuck in my head from that. Now, you know, people, when I was growing up, the laughing joke in my generation was I wouldn't put Champion spark plugs or Pennzoil in my lawnmower because they sucked. They've made a lot of changes since then, obviously, so they're probably very good oils now and very good spark plugs now. But back in the day, you wouldn't. That was the running joke. So it was no surprise when Pennzoil did miserably back then. I don't think it would do the same now. However, some of that brand name recognition sticks with me to this day, and Valvoline was one of them.
Jim Greenan on Facebook. What about Marvin's Mystery Oil?
Marvin's? You mean Marvel Mystery Oil? Never heard of Marvin's. Is that the little green guy from the Bugs Bunny cartoon? I'm Marvin the Martian. Marvin's man. I'm going to form my P-42-3 modulator and blow up the Earth. If he made Mystery Oil, I want to try some of it. But Marvel Mystery Oil was great. Marvel Mystery Oil is one of the weird snake oil things that I could never figure out what it was best at, because I put it in transmissions and it helped. I put it in my engine, it quieted down lifters and it helped. I put it in my gas tank and it cleaned out valves and made valves. It just was Marvel Mystery Oil is a real mystery. That's probably the only thing. Like you know how women have in their pantry, they have staples. They got a staple, you know, they have the thing in there for flour or a salt or whatever their thing. They hang on to this. It's this brand. It's made in Jamaica or something, and it's their thing. Marvel Mystery Oil will be one of the things you just got to have on your shelf. You can have all kinds of specialty stuff, and you can pick out your AMSOIL and your Slick 50 and all the stuff there. I'll go this way with my BG and my Mobile One and that. But in the middle, the starting point, I think everybody should have some Marvel Mystery Oil. Really was good.
Nail Lover wants to know, which synthetic do you suggest?
I still stick with Mobile One. I just do. That's my go-to. I've personally seen it be the best thing on the market, and I have never had anyone come to me and say, God damn it, everything got fucked up. You know, the goddamn Mobile One really fucked me up. Not one time in 40 years of working on cars have I ever heard anybody say that, ever. That should count for something.
And Nail Lover wants to know, what do you think about the new Mazda Miata? I'm in love and want to trade my 3 in for it.
I gotta go see that. You know, I worked on Mazda Miatas when they first came out. In fact, in Vegas, when I lived in Las Vegas and I worked for the dealerships there, they used to have me teach classes. They had Mazda clubs. They had Mazda clubs that would come in. They'd pay me to come in on a Saturday or Sunday, and they would bring their Mazdas, and these Mazda groups would come in with their Miatas. They were Miata clubs, really, not Mazda clubs. And we'd go over their car to answer any question. We'd put one up on the rack and show them everything. And they've been impressive to me all the way down the line. The new ones are something different, and I got to see if it's really a frame up change or it's just more body and trim. But yeah, now a big guy like me, a Miata, I could get one, but I have to have one for each foot. That's how big I am. Yeah.
Bowie Addict.
Bowie Addict, okay.
Hi, General. I've been trying to find out what LA radio station you DJ'd for back in the day, and what was your radio name? I live in the Valley, and as a kid, used to call the DJs to chat.
Everything I did was very impromptu on KIQQ radio. You're never going to find me listed in their Hall of Fame or anything like that. Bruce Chandler and Tony St. James would be the only ones that could vouch for me to this day.
Trippy says hydrate.
Trippy says hydrate. TDP. He's supposed to be coming out here.
And I have no more comments.
Nothing else between the sheets.
Nope.
We're good. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up, but listen, we're going to start doing some stuff. I will bring out some tools next time. I will bring out some old stuff that I don't think you guys will even recognize. We'll do some trivia. We'll give away some prizes. We've also got some stuff coming in from Bad Dog Tools. Like I told you, I was on the phone with the owners 2 weeks ago, and they're sending me out some stuff that I want to try, and they gave me some instruction on how to use some of their gear, because I think I had a little bit of it wrong. I want to do some more tests, man. I want to see how good those really are. I would say right now, on a scale of 1 to 100, the Bad Dog drill bits are performing at like a 97. They're solid. They're solid. Now, I posted some of that, and you guys in there, most of you say, what is it? Where do you get it? And there is a link. If you have a good moderator on our page, they will get you to the exact link for Bad Dog Tools, and you can buy some stuff, and there's a promo code GenX helps you get some money off. However, the thing that I want to do with them is I want to go through the rest of their stuff and put it to the test. A little bit tougher, a little bit harder, and let's see how it holds up. Not just by itself, because that wouldn't be fair. If you try cutting something or drilling something and it doesn't work, that makes them look bad, but guess what? No other drill bit could do it either. I want to do stuff side by side where we can all see what's going on. So we'll do some of that coming up. We'll bring out some tools. We'll do some tests. We'll have some cameras set up. This was just to get us back. We had to set everything back up out here. It had been so long since we've been in the garage. Actually, your queen came out and set up 90% of it. She got it right. I just had to come dial in Streamlabs a little bit. But we'll do it next week. We'll get multiple cameras, multiple angles, traveling microphones. We'll do the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to sign off. And thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for coming back into our return. I don't even know if I got a thing on here. Do I got a thing on here that says goodbye? I don't know. It does right there. So I just want to let you guys know that's why we just took things slow today, answered some questions. I wasn't planning on going to the drawing board, but we did. I think that's a good thing. And remember, I don't know anything. Everything I'm telling you is a made-up lie. I haven't had an original thought in my head since 1973. Everything you're asking me, I'm Googling as fast as I can to find an answer. I have no idea about the automotive industry. I used to stuff envelopes for a living my entire life. So I'm making this up as I go along. Don't forget that. Thanks for tuning in around the planet, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember two things. Wherever you go, there you are. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. See ya.